So this evening, I'm going to do a brief presentation on cosmology. Okay. Just beginning out, what's up here now is the different zodiac signs. But for me, this was a previous class that was done in the previous session. Just for clarity, from my standpoint, there's a difference between cosmology and astrology. From my standpoint, is that astrology more so deals with the astrological signs, the zodiac, what chart, where you're born, that energy. Whereas for me, and my personal endeavors cosmology is more so the study of the cosmos. We say cosmos more referring to the heavenly bodies or heaven. And with that connotation, going back to the mindset of our foremothers and our forefathers, with the understanding of that we are the cosmos. We are the microcosm of the macrocosm. Okay, so when I talk about cosmology, the study of the cosmos, in essence, I'm still talking about the study of self. Okay, because as one of our great leaders and prophets have reminded us, and always remind us, is that we must not only study, more importantly, we must study self. Because once we study self, understand who self is, we realize that when I communicate with you, I'm still communicating with self. When I interact with the manifest universe, I'm still interacting with self. The reason being because we all have heard and used from time to time the phrase God, peace to the God, peace to the goddess. Peace God, peace goddess, right? So we're saying these things, we're speaking to our divine nature, not our human nature. A lot of times we may even say Islam. I, self, law, am master. I am the master of myself. And all the laws that govern self, means all the heavenly energies that influence earth also influence self. And knowing the correct time and place of these energies, so we can effectively use these and walk as God's ambassadors on the earth. Allah, arm, leg, arms, head. Allah, Allah, or all law, Allah. Again, we look at the reference to it as all law. No matter how you look at it, it's all law. And for me, again, cosmology is simply, again, the study of the heavenly bodies, the cosmos, and the law that governs the energies of the cosmos, or these heavenly bodies. And again, this energy, or the law that governs these heavenly bodies also is the same law that governs us, especially when it comes to health. Just a quick reference, like the 7 days of the week. This, of course, has a direct correlation with the 7 chakras of the body. The 12 zodiac signs have a correlation with the 12 meridian system, which the meridian system also has a correlation to the organ system in the body. So no matter how much we try to separate, look at things like health differently from, sun and moon and stars, and, even the study of actual law, because the study of actual law, contracts and commerce, still is governed upon one of the energies of the cosmos. So no matter how we look at it and get around it, the energy of the cosmos, the heavens, is around us all the time, 24/7. So again, for me, cosmos is the study of that energy, how we can look at it quantitatively and qualitatively and qualitatively, meaning how much and what type, what's it doing and what's happening with it. Okay, these things can be measured. This is again part of the.
Can everybody hear him okay?
Anyone hear me okay?
We can't hear you over here.
You can't hear me over there? Okay, well, maybe I can direct my voice a little bit this way, get a little sounding board.
Shut up, Master.
Right. Okay. Yes. And so tonight, tonight's class, like I said, it's really, yeah, go right ahead.
How ancient is this? How ancient is cosmology?
Cosmology is as ancient as you first becoming conscious of self.
So it's before astrology?
It is before. Astrology is a way of looking at cosmology, if you ask me.
Okay.
Right, because when you look at it, for me, cosmology, it goes back to the essence of the energy of the heavenly bodies. Because we all heard the concept of yin and yang. Yin being, generally speaking, the feminine principle, and yang being the masculine principle, right? Or we like to say in our tradition, Kemetic tradition, more so yin being the water principle, right? Hydration, water, and actual, the other aspect of that would be fire, right? Or thermal. So you have water, you have fire, right? You know, in its essence. Which again is just a duality, right? So when I say cosmology is as old as self, right? Meaning our ancestors, right? Their philosophy was that we created ourselves. No one created us. We created ourselves because we came back from what we call the waters of New. You know what I'm saying? The abyss. Before the so-called Big Bang theory, right? In essence, you know, we can use that terminology to kind of get an understanding of what's happening, to get ourselves closer back to a lifestyle that denotes us understanding the energies of the cosmos, right? And so that concept is simple like this. What we're saying is that before the Big Bang, right, which all the Big Bang is just a manifestation of the universe. Boom, the universe. In which you have these two principles, right? But before those two principles, the universe in and of itself was no duality. No male, no female, no water, no fire. It was all contained within. That's why it appeared to be no things or nothing there. Because you could not separate this from that, up from down, left from right, north and south, east and west. None of that was procedural because it was before the Big Bang. And so all the universe is just a manifestation. If you have nothing over here, there's no duality, there's nothing, then the exact opposite of that would be any and everything that you can think of, which would be the manifest universe, right? Which again, the Big Bang was nothing more than a thought, a consciousness, boom, where I became knowledgeable, conscious of self. Say, wait a minute, I am. And at the moment I became conscious of self, at that particular moment comes duality, right? Because I have to be conscious of something. Like I'm conscious of self. So then you have the thought, and then you have what it is the thought is conscious of. So again, you have the thought, which can be considered a feminine principle, a water principle, you know, and you could have the itself, the actual what it is, considered the masculine principle. Boom. So then again, you have the male and female principle, or the electric and the magnetic principle. So again, the cosmology, the study of cosmology is as old as first being conscious of self. Did I ask you a question?
Yes, sir.
All right. Okay. Now, what we're going to do is focus on cosmology. Like I say, there are many avenues you can go with this thing. You know, the chakras of the body, or the organ system. You can go with, you know, 7 days of the week. What happened today is on Tuesday. You know, that's Mars Day, it's sunrise, the energy's right. You go any and everywhere, showing how we gods and goddesses. But right now, I want to give this introduction to cosmology, just talking about something that's applicable that we can use right now, which is the season that we're in. And we're in the season of what we call the winter season. It's about to officially begin the winter season with the upcoming winter solstice. Okay. The winter solstice is a very crucial time, critical time, exciting time, you know, in our journey, right? And the reason being because it's part of this cycle that we live in. You know, the cycle of the fluctuation between the dualities of the feminine and masculine principle, or the water and the fire, or the hydration and the thermal, right? Because again, all the universe is in an infinitely number of things. There's nothing more that we measure the time from one point to another and back. You know, that little that waves are. That's all it is. We just measure from here to here and back, which gives us our seasons, right? Because if you take this, you just, you know, draw a nice little circle, right? You take that fire, you take that water, right? What happens is, when you begin to heat water, this is actually, can be considered cold and wet. I'll put CW for cold and wet, right? I have a little small board, but hopefully you guys can get an idea of the principles that I'm, you know, sharing with you about the cosmology, interesting cosmology, how to use this energy, right? We have a cold and wet season of the water, right? As water begins to warm up, right, you know, it's getting hot, right? So it's hot, but it doesn't quite lose its wetness, so it becomes hot and moist, HM, right? And this could be considered springtime, right? Springtime, hot and moist, you know. Birds in the air, you know, oh, energy started to rise up a little bit. You want to start doing a little something in springtime, right? Birds and bees, right? Okay, then you go to the fire time, which once this energy heats up enough, it becomes so hot, it loses all of its moisture, but then it becomes hot and dry. HD, hot and dry. And then it becomes so hot with fire time, eventually it has to cool back down. And once it begins to cool down, it becomes cold or cool. But it's not cold enough to the point where it retains its moisture again. So then therefore, it's cold or cool, but it's still dry, cold and dry. So then that's when you have like the fall. Again, this could be considered winter, spring, summer, of course, is fire, and the fall is what is it? Water, fire, earth. And it's just like water, fire. I didn't get the other elements. Spring would be air, and it actually depends on which system you're using. That's why I want to get to. We use the Chinese system, for example. Right, this would be air. This would be like metal. And the center would be earth. Okay. But for our purposes tonight, like I said, we was talking about the winter solstice, right? And the reason I'm drawing, giving the idea of the 4 seasons is because each season has its own energy, right? Which means that if we're mindful, we're supposed to be doing something in the water season, something in the air season, something in the fire, something in the metal. You know, each season is supposed to be doing something, right? And more specifically, right, what these 2 points are the solstices. We have the winter solstice and the summer solstice, right? Generally speaking, the winter solstice we're coming up into now is when the sun is furthest away from the earth in our hemisphere. Okay, it's our time frame where we're looking at the longest night. Okay. The sun is in like recession, it's going back, you know, and generally speaking it will stay there for about 3 days, the 21st to the 24th. Okay? So then on the 25th we have what's called like a rebirth of the sun, so the sun is born, right? However, this period is crucial because everything in creation, right? Nature, so we call it nature. For the most part, is in line with what this energy does. You know, the trees, the leaves fall, the birds, everything hibernate, birds fly south for the winter, you know, things like that, right? And there is something that we're supposed to be doing also with this energy during the winter time, okay? Basically speaking, what we do is this, using this water, this feminine energy, right? This is the most, if there is any point, any time, you know, during this continuous cycle where if you want to do any type of heal, use that feminine energy, right? Any type of like healing, that's feminine energy, you know, it's healing, nurturing, you know, born within, receptivity. You know, all these things are wonderful tools to have. Because men, we have access to these abilities as well. Born within is slowing down, accessing our feminine energy within, right? This is also the most perfect time for planting seeds within our spirit. Because this is when our spirit is very most receptive. Meaning, many times, you know, like a child, we like to consider our mind or our vehicle like our child. Because again, we're not the body, we're not the mind. We are that which controls that. You know, from time to time we even talk to that. We even hear from our higher self. Like I told myself this, so why did I listen to myself? You know, we have that type of interaction with our being all the time, right? And one of the analogies like we like to use is that the mind being like a child, which means that we have to constantly remind our lower self or a child within us, hey, you know, how to operate, how to act, what to do, you know, this, that, and the other. And the best time to actually get that child to listen is when that child is sitting down and that child has your undivided full attention, right? And that is what this energy of the winter solstice does, right? The winter solstice started beginning December 21st to the 24th, right? It's that period of time where the universe saying that if you want to impregnate your spirit, if you want to go within, if you want to program yourself and say, hey, you know, boom, whatever it is you want to do, this is the most perfect time to do that, okay? The reason being because as we move from the, because like I say, each season has its own agenda, has something going on with it. Because with the seeds that we plant in this wintertime, right, the seeds of the planet, right, they begin to come above ground in the springtime. When everything started to bud, things start to come up, right? So whatever's coming up in the spring, whatever we're getting in the spring, it is a direct correlation, right? You can't separate it from what you went into the winter season meditating on, whether we realize it or not. Most people just, come from the holiday season, Christmas, Kwanzaa, then they get a New Year's resolution, which is really after the time period for winter resolution. But you still can't use the energy because it's still right there in that winter season, the time for impregnating the spirit, right? So what we're looking at is that this time you impregnate your spirit during the winter solstice, right? Whatever it is you wish to manifest, come fire when everything is full blown. So again, the springtime things become just above the ground. You're conscious of this. Okay, cool. This is what's going on. By the time the summertime comes, like I say, everything should be good. That's like the opposite of cold, of water, of this feminine energy, where everything is reserved and, healing, doing that and the other. And masculine energy in the summertime is whatever you put out there, you get it, and you're getting it like it's coming, right? Whatever you did, but we get what we put out there. That's that karma thing. And of course, in that fall time, we definitely begin to get everything that's that has sprouted, that has grown, and now we're reaping our harvest from all of that. You're ready to go back to the winter season, okay? But one of the things that's key here, like, for example, we can look at the fire in the summertime, it's like 12 noon, right? 12 noon. When we have the water time, the winter solstice is like 12 midnight, right? And we're going to look at the equinoxes. We are the equinoxes. The spring equinox and the fall equinox is like 6 a.m. and 6 p.m. Right? Because ideally, even though this is the solar cycle, the winter time, springtime, but this is also the cycle of 24 hours a day. Right? Meaning, look at this on a daily schedule. We usually when we're ready to go to bed, right, 6 p.m. evening time is our wind down time from our day. You know what I'm saying? We sit back, reflect, see how things went. Okay, cool. How was your day? How did I do? You know what I'm saying? In the comedic or in the spiritual, mindset, we sit back and reflect and meditate on, did I observe the law? Was I acting as a Moor? Did I stand on my square? Was I acting honorable? You know what I'm saying? These types of, did I follow my eye? Depending on how deep you want to go with these things. But it's usually general time for reflect. How was my day? Right? And then once we evaluate our day, we go into the nighttime, right? We say, cool, that's how the day was. But hey, no big deal. I got another chance tomorrow. So I tell you what, I'm going to go to bed this evening and impregnate my spirit with what I want to happen for the next day. Because other than that, we wake up in the morning. What I'm going to do? What should I do? How should I get started? Well, and ideally, we should be going to bed, with that in mind, planning out our next day. So once we get up at 6 a.m., springtime, everything's up and jumping, we begin to slowly, move into that frame that we've outlined for ourselves, because we know that at this stage of the game, we're not so exact that nothing can change. We're still in the form that, at least for self, where I have an outline. I'm still flexible enough where the universe says, hey, we just go there. And I say, cool, I'm open to that, But in the meantime, like I say, generally speaking, want to go to bed, during this midnight hour, the time we, generally rest, and even some of us go back to that place where we came before the Big Bang. We go back there with our consciousness. Some people go in the spirit realm where they dream, interact, and things like that. We can do a million and one things during that midnight hour, That's a whole nother class in itself. But again, once we get to the springtime, wake up, 12 noon, again, midday, we're looking like what's happening, Especially a little bit after 12 o'clock, 1, 2, 3 o'clock. And the reason being because that's generally when the energy it's more so of its preceding connotation of what we're saying was actually coming. Meaning this, at 12 o'clock, even though the sun may be straight up, for the most part, we like to think it is, that does not mean that that's the hottest time of the day. Generally speaking, the hottest time of the day comes, 3, 4, maybe 5, depending upon if it's summer or winter time. It comes after that. It is, get dark. Even though the sun is set, there's still be a little bit of light going on. It's darkest before the dawn. This type of thing. For example, when the winter solstice comes, the 25th, the days start to get longer, but it actually starts to get colder as well, up until February, which is when it's the coldest point, which is right before the spring, which is right before the time when things start to warm up. Then when things start to warm up, you know, so it's like this crazy kind of, you know, we got to really get in tune and know what's really happening with that. But again, so there's a reason for the season, as we like to say, for each and everything, okay? And again, so taking our model of our clock, looking at what's happening right now, again, we're approaching our midnight hour. Okay, we just had the 6 o'clock period, you know, and now we're approaching our midnight hour. So again, what we're looking to do within this winter solstice is just to impregnate our spirit, okay, with what it is that we want to happen next spring, okay, so that, and of course, next summer. And the reason why I say this is such a crucial time, because right now we're looking at what's going on with our so-called jurisdiction, the so-called Moors, you know, down here in the DMV. Well, a lot of us are looking forward to trying to somewhat unite and, you know, bring this type of philosophy, that type of philosophy, you know, upper and lower, you know, whatever we want to call it. There seems to be two, you know, predominantly equal yet complementary philosophies going on. And my heavens, the way I view it, is that one is definitely got the structure and organization down. You know, you can't beat the structure, organization, how things are laid out. You just, boom, the blueprint is right there. No questions about it. Structure and organization is down. Whereas another philosophy may be like, look here, this is who you are, this is what's happening, go do something. You know, pretty much give you the information to go out here and execute, do what you got to do. But it seems as though if there's a way to join those two together, then we're complementing our halves, or complementing ourselves, because, you know, we all need to be more organized in what we're doing. Whatever we're trying to do, you know, put a lane on somebody coming after us, you know, man, we can't do that without any organization within ourselves. And at the same time, we have to have the know-how, what's really going on, who we really are, and know how to effectively say, boom, I don't need nothing from you because this is who I am, this is what I'm standing on, period. Right? And then, of course, us going from that, there's this transition time where we actually utilizing both. Okay, so again, that's my little spiel on part of the reason why it's crucial for us to look at what this winter solstice is all about. Because whatever we want to accomplish, if we want to accomplish, say for example, like a unity, you know what I'm saying, or like coming together, right? This would be the most apropos time for us to just give energy to that. Think about that, meditate on that. Or if you want to do something else, meditate on that. Whatever it is that we want to do or we want to accomplish, now is the perfect time for us to just sit down, meditate, and give energy to that. Because again, what we're doing is actually impregnating our spirit, okay? By using the energies that's already there. Like I say, whether we know about it or not, just like gravity, it's gonna happen. Whatever we're thinking about this winter season coming up, Thursday, Friday, whenever the 21st is, you know, it's gonna do something. It's gonna do something. So this whole presentation tonight is giving an idea of what's actually happening and how we can actually use that to our advantage. Because again, nothing that we talk about, you know, I mean, it could be the greatest thing since sliced bread, but if we do not know how to use it to our advantage or make it applicable, then it could be, might as well not even have it, you know. So we might as well not even know certain knowledge, we're not going to use certain knowledge. And again, after all, we talk about, you know, gods and goddesses, and we're looking at, again, we're gods and goddesses because of the fact that we understand the energy system of the universe, because the universe is nothing but energy anyway. You know, everything is atoms. You know, solid, liquid, gas, but it's all atoms. The atoms is nothing more than microcosm of the macrocosm. We're nothing more than made up of atoms. So I don't want to go down another different path right now. I still want to stick with the focus on the winter solstice. Its importance, so it's right now how we can utilize it and how it plays out, how it will play out for the rest of the upcoming cycle. You know, because me myself, because I've been a national for actually 2 winter seasons myself, 2 cycles of this myself. So I've actually had first-hand knowledge and experience of what happens when we're coming together and meeting, and you know that energy, what it feels like, and I also know what it feels like to be a maverick, be out here. You got a lot of knowledge, you're doing some stuff, but it's fun, but it's still a different vibration. It's still a different vibration. And so, like I say, just based upon my experience, I'm looking forward from this point on, just kind of, you know, just kind of unite and look at like I said earlier, everybody and everything is simply a reflection of myself. Which means that with this knowledge comes a true understanding of, I really cannot be mad, I can be mad, but whoever I get mad at and say somebody is this way and somebody is that way, they're not doing this and not doing that, I'm really talking about myself. You know, 24/7, I'm always talking about self. That's just a part of me that I have yet to realize that's there, that, you know, I have yet to go inside and deal with my own self. You know, otherwise I would love and appreciate whoever it is just for them being them in their own way that they're here expressing themselves as a guide or goddess, or trying to be, or potentially, or whatever they choose to do. You know what I'm saying? So just respect, love everybody, and you know.
So you say that because you recognize that whatever you can identify as somebody else, it's because you have it in yourself.
Absolutely, absolutely. There is no separate, there is no gaps in the universe. And if I subscribe to the philosophy that, you know, I'm a God, then of course, God created everything. So everything I created is good and very good. So I just have to, you know, advance in my degrees, my knowledge, so that I can appreciate the goodness of whatever I'm experiencing or observing. Yes.
So for those who probably, this is for their first time probably hearing about cosmology, could you explain to them probably the importance it is in their life or in their personal growth?
Right. So see, there's another aspect of cosmology. Like I say, it's more the astrology aspect that deals with, for example, your chart. Okay, which means that when we're born, right, the moment we take a breath, that first breath of air, you know, breath of life, you know, that chi that we breathe in, right? There's energetic forces in place, right? Boom. So that first breath, you're breathing in the energy of that particular moment in time and place and space, which gives us the understanding that that's why we're all as different and unique as our fingerprints, because that breath of air tied in with, of course, our physical DNA, whichever traits that we got from our parents, right? Traits from our parents, and what we breathe in, right? Give us an idea of the energies that are surrounding our life, our birth, and what we can do is with that information is study that to see how what we call like houses, or what areas of life that we may have an issue with, a challenge with, or what areas of life that's going to be a breeze for us. Whether it be aspect of making money, you know, for some folks, they're not doing that, money just come to them. Other folks, man, I can't. Two niggas rub together for no matter what I do. You know, some folks tend to be more, you know, artistic, you know, rhyme, this, that, and the other all the time without saying something on their mind. It's coming with you, you know, like a bit of a grind, anyway, something like that. Or we all got, you know, different gifts, different talents, and like I said, when we're born, you know, the cosmology can let us know, like I said, with study and getting information, how we actually made our constitution, right? Because we talk about law all the time. Like I say, everything is law, and cosmology is a law that governs our physiological and psychological functions, because we're dealing with energy, i.e., emotions, energy in motion within. So part of that cosmology is understanding, like the zodiacs, or the deities, or the angels, whichever you want to call them by name, but they're still the same. They have different aspects to them, different energies of them, and they're all inside of us. But if we understood which one was more prevalent, we could deal with that. Which one was lacking, we can do certain things like burn oils, eat certain foods, whether it be within that season, within the hours of the day. Like I said, there are just so many different ways to use the knowledge of the energies and what's happening to be beneficial personally with our own life. You know, position, heal thyself. You know, if I'm a God, I should be able to go within and create, doing this and other, understanding my own energy system like that. So, is that kind of a little bit more? I don't know if that.
This is just something to piggyback off of what you explained. There's
We're
something
going.
Camelback.
He was about to say, you should say veggie back instead of saying piggyback.
Go ahead. You can say what you want to say, bro. Say it.
I understand, but
it's your company.
in layman terms, I understand what y'all's getting at though. But you had sparked something that I had read, and it's called Knowing Self.
Okay.
And it gave the 7 points of self. And the first one is self. Is an individual known or considered as the subject of his or her own consciousness. Anything considered as having and possessing its own personality. Personal interest or advantage, essentially self is anything, any class or any attribute that, when abstractly considered, maintains a distinct and characteristic individuality and identity. Apply the knowledge one has acquired from the study of one's horoscope to refine one's conscious approach to maximizing one's learning and retention capacities. Knowing one's strengths and weaknesses allows one to take conscious measures of adjustment for self-improvement and character building. The next one was research. Is to search into a matter, idea, or subject, an investigation which is directed to discovery and analysis of some fact by careful observation and study of a subject, person, place, thing, or idea. A course of critical or scientific inquiry, the standard of possessing multiple volumes of books in our research efforts must be maintained and respected, not just for expanded learning, but also for readily available sources for cross-referencing. Reflection is a thought expressed in words, the action of turning back or fixing the thoughts of some subject or matter. Meditation and or deep and serious consideration. The act or business of reflection with ideas received from sensation and perception. We reflect upon what we study in order to analyze and critique subject matters and disciplines. Contemplation is the action of beholding, the action of viewing, of attentive consideration, of study, and of meditation. Contemplation is an addition amongst other study tools. We contemplate upon what we have studied in order to compare, apply reason in order to internalize information, considering it for validity or invalidity. Meditation is the action or an act of meditating, of serious and sustained reflection, or of mental contemplation of religious use. Meditation is the continuous application of the mind to the contemplation of some issue or religious truth, mystery or object of reverence, etc. Meditation improves insight. Comprehension is the grasping, it's 7. I apologize.
No, go ahead, bro.
Comprehension is the grasping of a subject or idea with the mind and helps one to attain, to accomplish, and to apprehend with the senses. Comprehension means to embrace or to describe summarily. It is the act of comprehending or summation of any matter. We test and review our comprehension capacities to measure or judge both our retention of information and ability to regurgitate the same. And finally, analysis. It's the resolution of anything complex into its simple elements and reflects the exact determination of its components. It is the resolving of problems done by reducing them to equations. This may be equated with logistics, also involves the process of resolving a mathematical problem into its first elements. Thus, analysis is an essential logical synopsis arrived at by reasoning and investigation of the relations of variable elements, components, or the like. This is applied to history or to the examination of an effect traced to its cause. All of the above are applied in critical thinking. Use them. Knowing self.
You have a question?
No.
Okay.
Well, when one talks about one of the holy books that everyone should have, the transformations of rock, and the overthrowing of Apep, basically what it's talking about is through the process of learning the things that this brother was saying, how does one get on that road or that track? Okay, that whole process is basically about the true self versus the false self. In between it is your Ra, your will, that has the decision over both matters. But it takes knowledge to suppress and control those wild horses below that heart chakra, so that heart chakra, which is your Haru, your will, your sun, your Ra, can unify with your higher self, which is your true all-seer, your true divine self, up here in this area right here. Okay, it has to be awakened. It has to be studied once awakened, and then it has to be in some way, not completely, because you're never going to completely understand this. That's what our whole existence in this galaxy is for. Okay, but you'll be on the road and pathway to understanding your position in it. Okay, and so what I'm saying is all this tying in together. This week cannot pass without people taking it serious. You know, between the 21st, when he said 21st, and actually the 25th. The 25th of December is very important because at midnight, I think the process is like at midnight on the 25th, that's when actually almost like time stands still for a moment. You know, like the sun or stands still, or somebody stands still. Which one is it? Yeah, for a moment. And then it reverses and the sun is reborn. You know what I mean? So that's where they get all this Christmas stuff about Christ and all. We the Christ. So when we get into there, we meditate. What are we meditating on? You meditate on everything intently that you want to see to produce itself, or in a continuation of producing itself over the next year. And the spring equinox is when you start to see, start to observe your fruits. And then the summer is when you get to meditate on, well, am I going that way? And those are all divinations, but I'm just saying that if you get in from the 21st, if you could unplug your phone, get some alkaline water or lemons in your water, you know, do whatever you can, fruit, make yourself light, do your sleeping, write your journals, whatever you need to kind of shut down during that time as much as you can. I'm not saying lose your job. Then you're going to start to in tune and build upon what you call your precipice for putting that seed inside.
I think that's every day.
Well, this is in specific. I'm saying specifically,
Yeah.
sister. And I don't want to, you know, I understand what you're saying. But I'm saying between the 21st and the 25th, you are building up your mind to get all the garbage and the trash out, because you'll imprint that also. This is a special time.
I just believe it's every day.
This is a special time. Hear me out.
I hear you out, but I'm just saying, I just believe
Let
it's
me
every
finish.
day.
We had 3 minutes left.
Okay, I'm just
We
saying.
had 3 minutes left.
Right.
Just wait for 30 seconds.
Sister, no.
Right.
I don't want to go back and forth.
Yeah.
We had 3 minutes left on the brother presentation, because there could be some more questions on the floor, so we're trying to keep things in a timely fashion, because I wanted something to say, but I can say it when we finish.
Okay, go ahead.
And the beauty of it is you're both right. That's why I drew the clock up here. I say I'm making special emphasis when we're talking about the winter solstice. At the same time, I do the 12 noon, the 12 p.m., the 6 p.m., and the 6 a.m. because, as mentioned, it does happen. Right. So, you know, we're all right. You know, we all have, like, we all sparks of the divine essence of what we call God. We all gods and goddesses. So we all have a bit of the truth to add to, you know, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth.
So help us move.
So help us more.
So help us more.
I just got what you're saying. Like, you started off saying it's micro and macro. And
Right.
you just said it's yearly, plus it's also a one-day clock. So
Absolutely.
y'all both was right.
Yeah.
Because I know personally for
You
me,
gonna speak up?
because I know personally for me, ever since I've been on my journey and disciplining myself, I have noticed that, and I just told him, I have noticed that the 21st of December has been a date that always stuck out to me. I just didn't know why until he just told me. But I knew it was something about December the 21st. So I learned something in there.
Thanks, yeah. And we look forward to, because I love talking about cosmology and energy too. Like I said, as we go more and talk more about cosmology, you know, to get more detail, like the 7 days, the energies of those days. Like I said, the organs of the body, you know, maybe some foods. Because some people know some stuff in here also. We just begin to, you know, talk, you know, get more organized and say what foods should eat during certain times. Especially, like my brother Jawad had a question earlier about how can we apply this. They're using our sciences all the time. If we knew what particular, you know, like certain days are good for certain days. Not only certain days, certain hours during those days are good for certain days. Depending upon what it is you wish to manifest and bring forth in this plane, we can just use those energies to do so. Okay, whatever it may be, whatever it is. Yeah.
I want to just add to the fact that if you cannot control yourself, you cannot control anything else. That's cut and dry, plain and simple. So that's controlling your thoughts, controlling your eating habits, controlling the times that you eat, all of that, taking on the exercise of disciplining yourself will help you to tap into your powers where you will start to control the events that is surrounding you. You'll be able to control those events because you're taking control of yourself. And what has not happened is that we have never been in the thought process of taking control of ourselves. We've always been in the thought process of going to somebody else to do things for us, to answer things for us, and to give us confirmation over things that were divinely inspired in us. And if we have those inspirations, but we don't act on them because we don't feel like we're worthy. And until somebody else say, yeah, that's right, or yeah, I agree with that, then you feel more comfortable with going in that direction. But it all starts off of controlling yourself. Sometimes you may want to say something, like me, you gotta shut up. You gotta be quiet. You know what I mean? Sometimes you may want to eat a burger. You know it ain't good for you, don't eat the burger.
Just the opposite. Sometimes we may need to speak. We may not want to speak up, but need to speak up. It's just the opposite too. Because I know, you know, sometimes I actually feel that part sometimes myself. I should say something, but for some reason, like, I can't. You know, there's a right throat issue, chakra, you know, mercury communication. So again, we begin to identify what areas that we can build up on. We can do like, you know, certain acupressure points will need attention. You know what I'm saying? Eat certain foods that deal with mercury. You know what I'm saying? We can do little things to help, you know what I'm saying, get our vibration right so that we can heal ourselves and become in tune. And that way, once we become in harmony, we become in harmony with everything else in the universe. You know, we become peace and unite, we become more united in peace with everybody and everything else.
Is there any more questions? Because we want to close off his presentation, and we have meditation down here. You'll take us through that?
Yes. Right. We got about 5 minutes. How many time?
Yeah, you got 5 minutes.
So while I watch this,
Get that from home.
while I'm shopping. And just as we get off into meditation, right? Just kind of a little info, what meditation is, you know, idea. Because sometimes we can get kind of, we can have the, this one is weird. You know, most of us heard of meditation before, but you know, we might think it's some kind of spooky, you know, well, I can't meditate. I tried to meditate, you know. In reality, most of us meditate quite a bit throughout the day without even realizing it. If something goes wrong, we find ourselves in a state that we want to be in. Most of us just,
Yeah.
you know, just
What's that?
stop and take a deep breath.
This would be a part.
Right.
I don't mean to interrupt. I would like for this to be a part of us really comprehending what the whole process of what he's saying about us coming together and dropping down our barriers. So I would like for everybody to get up and come as close as we can, hold hands, close our eyes, and start having visions. Visualize us coming together instead of us visualizing all of us having our individualities. So we could like just come together, hold hands, and see pictures. Make the pictures in your mind.
Yeah, it's just a nice meditating, you know. And one of the keys to meditating is, no matter what it is, the purpose, we have to remember to just relax and be in our most peaceful state. Because in our most peaceful state, void of the emotions, is when we really can summon our power, our creative power. Because we just relax, get peaceful, and all of that energy that was everywhere before, it is right now at peace, and we're taking that energy and we're going to direct it for something specific. And like I said, that's a key part of meditation, is the breathing, because the slower and deeper that you breathe, like abdominal breathing as you breathe, you know, diaphragm, you become more relaxed instantly. And the more you become more relaxed and at peace is when, again, you avoid your emotions everywhere, and you can send your energy that you summon to that specific goal, and it will amplify, expeditiate the time it comes to manifestation to fruition. So as we just breathe, focus our energy in our own way of unity, coming together, just relax. experience of the peace, the visualization, carry this on, the rest of the season, beautiful manifestation.
Yes, yes.
Back up to
You want to stay here?